Minecraft recently merged the two copies available for Windows. Minecraft for Windows players now get a free copy of Java, and Minecraft Java players get a free copy of Minecraft for Windows. Except that second thing had already happened for quite some time, and every Java player knows exactly what they're missing in the Bedrock version. There's a salmon-shaped hole in your heart, a very big salmon-shaped hole in your heart. However, Bedrock players might not know quite so much about what they're missing on the Java edition. I mean, sure, there's a second hand, and there's this weird debug screen, and also there's an arrow that can make people glow through walls, but if you don't know about every feature, I figured I would go through the ones that make me most jealous, the things that I think they should be adding to Bedrock, but at present have not, and which you can only get on Java right now, including the platform support. By the way, this is our first feature. Java Edition is the only version available on macOS and Linux, which is really weird because Bedrock is the thing that's meant to be available for every platform under the sun. You can play it on your fridge if you want to, but you can't play it on your MacBook without installing Windows, or Wine if you're a Linux person, but either way, also anyone before Windows 10 just can't play Minecraft for Windows either, so a lot of PC platforms have it as their only version, and that's a great reason to hop in. I think support is a great reason to like anything, but it also has support outside of the game as far as mods are concerned. Even though more players play Bedrock, many more modders play the Java edition, either from tradition or just because it's easier to play around with the files, and so there are thousands of mods that are exclusive to this edition. If you want to extend the game massively, Galactic Craft or Industrial Craft make their entire own tech trees and progressions, or you can just download a mod, like one of my friends makes something called Quark, and this is a mod that allows you to extend vanilla effectively, making Minecraft as if it had had a bunch of updates that actually feel like they fit with the rest of the game. There's so many different ways you can take it, and although I'm not a big fan of mods, I appreciate that a lot of people at least want to give them a try, or maybe are curious about it, and so that is one big benefit you have on Java Edition. Also, it's much easier to get to the world files and play around with them, and that's something that many value just by itself. A lot of people also value the debug screen, which is only available on the Java Edition, at least if you're playing the public edition that anyone is playing around with. So the Java Edition has this debug screen which shows you the FPS, the biome, the block states. It shows you all of this weird information, which is handy for speedrunners, and it's handy for creators who are trying to figure something out, like what biome are you in right now. And let's be honest, if you're an end user, it's handy because it allows you to see where mobs are and get a little bit of information you otherwise aren't meant to have access to. Is it okay to cheat on the Java Edition? Actually, it totally is. There's a much wider acceptance because of the open to land thing, but we won't talk about that now. Instead, we'll talk about the fact that there is a whole second half of the Nether, which is only available for Java Edition players. If you want, you can go onto the Nether roof and you're allowed to do whatever you will up here. If that involves building a piglin farm, go ahead. If that involves building portals so you can get back down, sure. You want to do a bunch of travel up here, it's totally okay, and this is not true on the Bedrock Edition. So officially speaking, I do need to mention that this isn't an official Java feature. What this is this is a bug that exists on Java that they don't intend to fix, but they don't intend to add it to Bedrock because it's a bug, which makes me say it's a parity issue, but Minecraft says no, it's just a bug that we're not going to fix and we're not going to add to the other version. But still, it's a Java Edition exclusive as far as anyone who is anyone can tell, just like how adding banners to maps is a Java exclusive. This is called the waypoint system. If you want to mark specific locations on maps, all you have to do is use the map on a banner, and I think that's so cool, and it's weird that it doesn't work in reverse because it's not that recent of a Minecraft feature, but either way, there's another great thing, which is dual wielding, because if you have a pickaxe in one hand, let's say you're mining, what happens when you're mining? Oh, it turns out it gets dark because there's not much light in the caves you're mining for, so what you do is you put a torch in your offhand, and now you can mine with your left click, or your right trigger. I guess we're talking about Java, which doesn't have any native controller support, so yeah, you left click to mine, and then you can right click to torch. Anything which only has a second click functionality can be used in the offhand this way, which means you can build and you can place blocks at the same time. It means you can fight and you can have food ready to immediately eat the moment that you're down with it at the exact same time. There's so many useful combinations, and even just having a 10th inventory slot is really cool because you press the F key anytime and it switches your two hands around. On the Bedrock Edition, there is a offhand slot, but it's only usable for arrows, shields, and I think fireworks because of the crossbow, and also the Nautilus shell. I don't understand it fully, so dual wielding is much better on the Java edition, whereas on Bedrock we have one hand available to us at all times. You might think logically that I've got a sword in my left hand and so I can pick up a bucket with the other one, but that's only if you're a Java edition player. by the way, we will all die someday mugs available, ibxtoycat.store, but you can only hold it in your other hand if you're a Java player. Bedrock players, we just don't understand, like, what do you mean, two things at the same time? This is confusing, and by don't understand, I mean, we haven't had it added to the game by developers, because they're busy working on new ways to buy mine. They're too busy fixing one of the many Bedrock bugs, which, you know, it's gonna happen with so many platforms, right? Also, it's worth mentioning crazy connectivity. That's definitely how you pronounce this word. No, there's quasi connectivity, and it's a very useful feature because it allows Redstone to jump corners, which sounds like a bug, and it is a bug, but it allows you to do really cool things. And let's be honest, the bigger reason you care about it, the reason I've heard everyone who wants Redstone Java is because it's more likely to work if you don't know the version. Minecraft tutorials that involve Redstone all involve Java Redstone, and Java Redstone doesn't randomly break between updates because there is a much more established Redstone community that they're much less likely to randomly decide to hurt. And speaking of randomly hurting people, have you ever decided that you wanted to shoot someone? And just to clarify for my American viewers, I mean with a bow, of course. So obviously there is a lot of different arrow types that you have on both versions of the game. There's those weird wither arrows as well for the Bedrock version, but the Spectral arrow for Java is one of those cool exclusives that dates all the way back to 2014. I don't know why the rendering engine on Bedrock doesn't support them, but either way, I think it's a shame you can't use them because they're so fun. Speaking of fun things, development versions. On the Java edition, you are treated as a big boy who can choose for themselves what version of Minecraft they want to play. That's right, you don't just have to play the newest version, and although there's all sorts of development headaches, and I'm sure they wish they hadn't made Minecraft work this way, Java edition allows you to play 1.19, 1.18, all the way back to 1.1, or all the way back to beta, all the way back to alpha. You want to play in-dev, you want to play inf-dev, you want to play the weird snapshots that released in 2015, you can totally choose to do that at your own leisure, which I think is really great. And it means you can also bug test things between versions. You can get nostalgia. My first Minecraft version, I can go back and play anytime I want, whereas my first Bedrock version, I mean, you can download external things, but it's not easy, and we're talking about things that you can just do with no effort required. Just like, speaking of no effort, Java Edition really can be the no effort version, because you know what the boat crafting recipe is like on Bedrock? It involves 3 separate crafts. You craft sticks, you craft a shovel, then you craft the boat. On the Java Edition, all you need is planks, which I guess is technically one craft, but once you've got the planks, you can craft a boat of any variety you want. Why doesn't it require shovels? I think this is honestly, there's a more interesting rant inside of this video that we won't go into too deep, but it really seems as though when there's a difference between the games which favors Java, they let Java have the weird difference that is beneficial, and when there's a difference between the games that favors Bedrock, they either add the feature to Java or they remove it from Bedrock. It's a weird double standard, but you know, we're not here to talk about the differences between the development procedures. I'm sure ultimately there's just a lot of different things going on with developing for so many platforms that could maybe explain it, just like how it could maybe explain why Hardcore and Spectator are only available on Java. It's interesting because Spectator is coming to Bedrock in 1.20, we assume, or 1.19.20. We don't know when, but Spectator will be officially coming to Bedrock. But for now, if you want to play around in Spectator, and if you want to, you can right-click on a mob and you can see what life is like from their eyes. Also, by the way, here's another weird one to do with mobs. Did you know that wearing a mob head reduces the detection range of said mob? So if you're wearing a zombie head, zombies won't see you for half the distance because they'll think that it's not a person, it's clearly a zombie because look, he's wearing a zombie head. I think that's dumb, I think it's stupid, but I also love it. It's one of those fun features. There's so many of these weird, love, Easter eggy, accidental features on the Java Edition, whereas I feel like since Pocket Edition turned into Bedrock, there's been less room to make those on Bedrock. I don't know why that is. I think there's some interesting things we could talk about, but again, I'm just talking about reasons you should hop onto the Java Edition, just like how the /world border command allows you to make your own world border. A lot of people have fun playing around in one chunk only. A lot of people have fun playing around with in-game statistics. I love that you can see how far you've walked or how many blocks you've mined of every common type. I think it's a really fun little feature, but it's not quite as fun as the fact that if you play creative, you can use the debug stick. stick. I love using the debug stick for changing the states of certain blocks. You can turn on, you know, like a furnace. You can mix around a slab. You can see all the different variants and versions of a block. In some of the cases, they're not obtainable just in default creative. It's very fun if you ask me. Just like how it's fun if you want to play around with discontinued mobs that are only available on the Java. The Bedrock version only claims to duplicate non-bug and actually included features, and so if you want to have a giant, an illusioner, or a killer bunny, they won't be added to Bedrock till they're available in the base game, but they are available on the Java. Speaking of things that you can do only on the Java, and this one's kind of weird, right? Do you want to write a sign where you misspell shed really badly? Because, you know, sometimes I stub my toe real bad, and I talk about where I store my garden implements, but I just say it incorrectly. It's a normal thing that happens, you know? Oh, shit, you know, I don't know where I'm going with that. You can only scream your profanities on the Java edition. Even when playing a single player world on the Bedrock edition, it will censor your signs just in case a kid walks by and sees it. Because, you know, gotta protect those children. You know, they're not gonna protect themselves. Not like they know how to enchant. Speaking of enchantments, by the way, did you know you can add enchantments to any item in Creative? So if you want, you can put loyalty on your stick. If you want, you can put fire protection on your shovel, because it's just too damn fire, am I right? And that means that Java Edition is the only place where if you find a hoe, you can put loyalty on it. And I'm just saying, that makes a big, big difference. Just like how there is a big, big difference between people who watched this video and enjoyed it, and people who watch this video and decide to buy a "we will all die someday" mug. I just love this too much. I have to keep showing it off. It took too long to get these weird custom heart mugs made. You don't just get one for the price. Like, it's a nice mug for... You get 2 mugs that fit together. It's too cute. And if you want one, you know where you should go. ibxtoycat.store. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing. Perhaps turn on those notifications if you want to, I don't know, see more videos. Because on YouTube these days, you can probably see more of my videos without subscribing, but if you subscribe, it sends the message that you like this video and want to see more like it, because it is fun to go through and talk about some of these important issues and help any prospective Bedrock players out if they're considering trying Java. I've said this forever, if you are lucky enough to be a Windows 10 or 11 player, you should try both editions. A lot of Bedrock players haven't tried Java, and a lot of Java players haven't tried Bedrock, and I think it's easy to be closed-minded and say things that aren't what I do are so terrible and I'm not even going to look at them. But sometimes it's important in life and in Minecraft to be as open-minded as you can be, and then after you've experienced them, then say they're terrible. That's what I like to do, at least. And life advice of Toycat. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you in another one, unless there's a tragic house fire, you know. Goodbye.